I'm Bill Jasper at the Red Pill Festival in St. Regis, Montana. And it's my pleasure to meet here the famous cartoonist Ben Garrison. So nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet
seen
you.
your stuff for a long time.
Well, persistence pays off sometimes.
So you've done many cartoons that have been featured in many places, and you have a different take from most of the cartoonists that we see in the mainstream media. You've done a lot on the New World Order and on wokeism and so many politically incorrect topics. And where does this come from?
As you just alluded to, I draw things that they cannot draw because they have editors and they have no means of doing it, even if they wanted to. They wouldn't be able to get published. I get published because I'm an independent and I don't have anybody telling me what I can and cannot draw. Although they have pushed back with me, as I mentioned in my speech, about the trolls. They tried to shut me up that way.
Have you been censored on the internet? Your stuff?
No, I got censored. I got censored on Twitter. We lost 300,000 followers. They just pulled the plug on us. We get blocked on Facebook a lot. I say we because my wife is also a cartoonist, and it's really advantageous for me to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. You know, we both throw ideas back and forth at each other, and we could even insult each other's ideas, and nobody gets upset because it's not an ego thing. It's just a husband and wife thing.
Debate and give and take.
Yeah, but the cartoons, I've been doing them now for 12 years, and the first 5 years were unmitigated disaster, and it caused me to lose a lot of money and lost my commercial art business, and I got kicked out of the art gallery I was in, so it was all a big disaster. But we turned things around when Trump ran because he had tremendous momentum, and I got on the meme bandwagon, and it was really satisfying to see him, more of a populist president, take office. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I was invited by the president to go meet him in Washington, D.C. and be part of his social media summit. And I was so excited to be able to go. I bought a new suit and I got the cheapest flight I could find, non-cancelable. And then about 2 days before I was supposed to fly over there, I got disinvited. I got disinvited because somebody spread the word, and the mainstream media spread the word that I was an anti-Semitic cartoonist, and Trump, the Trump people pulled the plug. I was very, very disappointed, but I did get to see the National Gallery art. I still went. I saw the National Gallery art. It was all okay. But I did have one of Trump's aides show up at a after party, and he said the president does like my cartoons, and he regrets that I didn't get to go. And I felt better after that.
Sure. And he probably, I don't know if he was actually in on the final decision.
Apparently he wasn't. I think it was just the lower levels. But the mainstream media, for one solid day, held me up as one of the worst human beings on the planet. And the only reason they did that is to get at Trump. Okay, he's inviting this anti-Semitic cartoon, which is a blatant lie. But that was kind of a wake-up call for me in a way that I have to be more judicious in what I promote. We should never even have talked about it. We should have promoted it on my site, and then I could have gone and met the president.
Could have gone and
it was a once in a
let him
lifetime
attack you
thing.
after the fact.
Yeah.
So there's just a kind of a boring time. You probably don't have any ideas about cartoons to draw.
I'd much rather draw Trump than Biden, that's for sure. But the ideas, the way I look at it, especially with editorial cartoons, the possibilities are endless.
Every time you turn around, there's
and I've become an expert on metaphors, and so most cartoons are grounded in metaphors. It's just a matter of changing them up and presenting something that's a familiar theme or a cliche, but you put a spin on it, and people still pick up on it and easily understand what I'm doing.
Now, have you been a cartoonist all your life, or is that a form of art that you came to later in life?
Well, I've been an artist since I was a kid. I drew cartoon strips in the 7th grade, and I drew characters of my classmates, and so I've been a cartoonist early on, but I wanted to be a fine artist. And I went to college and I majored in fine art, and I wanted to be a painter. And I couldn't find any work that way, so it's hard to make money as a fine artist. So I became a newspaper artist. That's where I got interested in commercial art, and I learned graphic arts and information graphics. Then I got my own business eventually and did giant posters of infographics for major corporations. And of course, all that went away when my name was destroyed because of the cartoons. And that happened shortly after I started drawing them. The first viral cartoon I drew is one called The March of Tyranny. And it was a Democrat leg and Republican leg, and they were kicking the voters as they're moving along. And above the clouds, it's all being controlled by the Great Pyramid, who also controls the mainstream media. That one went all the way around the world, and I got a lot of notoriety for that, and that was in 2010. But that was the first cartoon also that got altered by trolls. And since that incident, I got attacked by trolls all over the world. But so from 2010 to 2015, it was just a downhill battle against that. Their trolled versions of my cartoons were more prevalent than my real ones, and everybody really thought I was a Nazi. And that was darn difficult to overcome.
Oh yeah, that's got to be a terribly disheartening.
Well, yeah,
situation.
and then that caused us to go broke too. I couldn't get any work, so the fact that we turned it around is very gratifying, and I couldn't have done it. We couldn't have done it without our supporters, because all these cartoons that I draw now would not be possible without people buying books and prints.
So, do you have some kind of blockchain security on your cartoons so they can't be changed?
I tried all kinds of stuff. No, they're going to obliterate.
They're still going to do.
Listen, I actually had a friend who was a internet investigator of sorts, and he tracked down some of the trolls, and they were classic basement dwellers. One of them was this young man named Joshua Goldberg, and the FBI arrested him because Goldberg was pretending to be an Australian Muslim, and he was trying to get other Muslims in America to build a bomb to bomb the Oklahoma City bombing anniversary. The firefighters had a thing going on, and he wanted them to bomb him. But he didn't know this, but the FBI was tracking him since he also encouraged the bombing at the Garland Muhammad Draw-In, and one of them got shot by a security guard. That's how he got on their radar. But this same man was one who was
going after you.
Yeah, he was going after me, and he was responsible for a lot. And he ends up being the classic troll, living in his basement. He's a social misfit living in his parents' basement, and he got a 10-year sentence.
So, people want to access your cartoons now. You have books out now.
Yeah, I have. I've had 4 books now. And my latest one is called "Make America Well Again." And it's against, the cover is a little deceiving, and I did that intentionally to try to get past the Amazon censors. It's a positive thing, but inside all my cartoons are anti-medical tyranny cartoons that I've drawn over the past 10 years, a compilation of those.
Make America Well Again. And that and your other books are available where?
You can find them all on Amazon, or you could go to our site and grrgraphics.com. That's GRRR graphics.com.
Like grr.
Grr. Well, I originally started grrgraphics.com to try to separate my cartoons from my commercial art business. And I had a site with a growling dog with a pencil in his mouth, a big bulldog, because citizen journalists have to do the job that supposed real journalists, they're not doing their job.
Right.
They're just propaganda agents. So I used the bulldog as my symbol, and he's growling because he's mad because he's seeing a lot of corruption. So I called it Grr Graphics, and I got started in 2010. And if anybody goes there, they could see the store where we sell prints and the books, signed books, and I even sell my cartoon originals. And I can't say we're not getting rich, but we're paying the bills, and that makes me very happy because I
Well,
never thought it was possible.
it's very encouraging to see someone like you stick it out and fight in there and finally succeed. So,
Well, I almost didn't. I
congratulations.
have to congratulate my wife for that, really, because she's the one who made me stick with it. I was ready to give up in 2015.
Well, we're glad you didn't
Yeah.
because it's sorely needed. You bring a perspective and that humor and satire that we desperately need right now. So,
Thanks. Satire is where it's at because satire is multidimensional. I'm really not funny. Anything that's funny in my cartoon is a byproduct of the satire. That's where I'm going at. Is I want to mock their sanctimony.
You're doing a good job.
Thanks.
Keep it up.
Well, thank you.
Exactly.